Thank you, Toastmasters and welcome guests. Back on solid ground. This is a rather tall tale of my climbing escapades with my other half when we visited Rigolos in Spain to climb a 300-meter high rock formation and our relief at touching solid ground once again. Firstly, I'd like to give a brief introduction to rock climbing for those who are unfamiliar with the activity. What I will be talking about is lead climbing, which involves two people when they're climbing a rock face, and it involves connection with rope and clipping into preset rings on a rock face so that they clip in the lead person, so lead climbing, they clip in and then they climb and then they put another one of these in and before they clip in the rope, and that secures them. And the second person is the belayer, and they are responsible for their safety and also feeding in the rope as they climb. And my story features this location, which some of you may be familiar with, which used to hang on the wall when we had our online meetings. And there are two things you need to know about this location. Firstly, it's at the highest point 300 meters, which is quite high. And for perspective, these are the buildings in the village, and some of these are 3 stories. And this is the rock face called Los Manos in Rigolos. If you can bear in mind that 1, it is very high, and 2, it is also a very popular climbing location. So we begin with the ascent. So on this lead climb, there were what we would call 5 pitches, so that it's not all climbed in one go. You would expect to climb up a section, the lead person, and then the person who's being belayed, who is belaying, will then climb up. That was me. I was the second person. My partner is the more confident climber, and he made his way up tentatively, and it took from morning through to late afternoon, several hours of climbing. As you can imagine, it's a long process, about 5 stages, and we weren't the only climbers. There were several climbers climbing before us and after us. But we made it to the top. What my partner didn't tell me as we were climbing was, he's climbing, he's clipping, he's climbing, he's clipping. What a climber doesn't like to see is what is called polished holds, and that is where the rock face has been climbed so often that it's smooth like a pebble, which is no good for climbing. But luckily, he didn't tell me this, that he was nervous as he was climbing, because on occasions that there's possibilities of him slipping and then me having to catch his falls, which luckily he didn't do. So we made it to the top. Hooray! That was really amazing. And we thought, great, the hard bit is over. But we've made it to the top. We need to make it back down. And on rock faces, you can either abseil if it was a shorter distance, or it was a hike back behind the rock face. Ours was going to be a hike. We thought, great, it's going to be signposted. It'll be, go this way. Yep. Just face. Oh, let's go this way. It must be over here. Shrubbery. We really couldn't see a clear path to take. Oh dear. The people who were before us, they were nowhere to be seen. Oh, hold on a minute. Luckily, there are some people coming up after us. So we banded together and we kind of formed a group, trooping our way down the rock face. And as I was taking one step at a time, making sure I was putting my foot in the right location. And finally, we made it back to solid ground. Again, what my partner didn't tell me as we were making our way down carefully, my vision was very much tunnel vision, was that on occasion, if you looked this way, there was another sheer drop. If you looked that way, more cliff face. So luckily, he didn't tell me this when we were making our way down. And when we finally touched down, it was almost getting dark. It had taken a whole day to achieve the 5 pitches, about 300 meters of Rigoloss, but we had done it. Phew. So what I say to you is, if something looks like it's too big, too high up, you just need to take it one step at a time, 1 foot at a time, and eventually any obstacle is easy to overcome. And you will find that you have to go high above in the clouds before you touch down again on solid ground. Thank you very much for listening.